Hi guys, it's Kaylee here, and I'm gonna teach you guys how to do Nepeta horns, because I've seen a lot of people, cosplayers and stuff, that don't quite get their horns right. They're like crumply or styrofoam and just, I don't know, not good. And I haven't really seen a lot of really step-by-step, really detailed horn tutorials. So hopefully I'm gonna show you, hopefully this video will show you guys how to do horns. And this is my first time making horns, but I have a pretty good idea of how to do them. So and this is also my first how-to video, so I'm sorry if it's awful and cut me a little slack here, but alright, let's get started. Here we go. I'm using tin foil as my base for this, and it's really good because you can crumple it up and just kind of make it, it's really like, what's the word, malleable, and just good for stability and stuff. So I've decided the way, I've done a couple of cores, because luckily for me, her horns are exactly the same, so if one breaks off and just is totally unfixable, I can have a spare one and it won't matter which one it is because they're exactly the same. So for her base, I'm gonna do, sorry, don't mind my little side project there. For her base, I'm gonna do two different layers of this, and it's probably the easiest way to make the core. I've tried it a couple different ways, and I'm just gonna cut it with a simple razor blade, you know, no biggie. I mean, razor blades you can find anywhere really, so you know, not that big of a problem. And what I did is I folded it in half. It doesn't really matter which side you have the tin foil on because it's going to be covered up anyway. So you fold it in half-ish, and you fold it again so you have a nice little length. And it's pretty much horn size right there, horn tallness. And what you do, you just kind of roll it up. Make sure you're pinching the end, so that way it turns into more of a triangle type thing. And you're kind of rolling it, scrunching, rolling, scrunching, you know. Doesn't matter if it gets crumpled because, you know, it's tin foil, it's what happens with tin foil. And you just kind of get a basic tube there. Now, for the bottom, I've discovered it is a little bit long. So I don't know if you can see this alright, but I'm scrunching it up. And for the bottom, here's the top. So I've just squished it together. And for the bottom, I'm just kind of gonna split it apart. Kind of basically sort of undo what I just did, but not quite. And just sort of rip it a little bit. Just kind of let it come apart, and there should be a seam here somewhere that it'll split right evenly down, and the end result should be kind of like a blooming flower, but for lack of a better term. And you just kind of twist it and fold it back on itself, so it kind of has a bit more of a sturdy bottom. And you might have to crush it down a little bit, kind of like let it do whatever. And it doesn't matter if it turns out a little short because you're still going to have the second layer, which I'm going to show you in a minute. Here are my finished bases, because I'm showing you guys how I'm going to make my spare. And so that's what it looks like with the second layer, and here is the first layer. Notice it's a little short because we haven't got the second one on yet. So we'll just put that right here. The second layer, you basically do the same thing as the first. Roll it out. Get your razor blade. Don't drop it. And just kind of start it off. And light it down. There we go. Make sure you get your tin foil back in the box. That way, if you need to use it again, it's not all crinkly and hard to work with. So fold it up again. And you don't have to do it this way. You could just fold it up in quarters, you know. And just kind of have it like that. And then you kind of, I've put the core here, and I just kind of wrap it around there in a corner, so you get a little more of a tip here. And then I've kind of did an awkward way to wrap it. I took it as the corner it was, folded it up, just kind of folded it over, and wrapped it up and around, bent that part up. I mean, once you're doing it yourself, it'll be a little bit easier to see how. You're just kind of following the direction that the foil kind of wants to go. And you can just add, and as you're folding it, you're adding length onto the bottom. And it's fairly simple once you get the hang of it. And so there, you kind of have a crumpled, and just kind of do a little final crumpling so you have a nice, thick, sturdy core. And voila. There you have the squished up core. I'm sorry if I'm repeating myself. So you put your cores over here, and let's zoom out a little. Nope. What I'm using for it is Sculpey. I don't know how you guys pronounce it. I've never really had any need to. So you just get this at your local craft store, you know. I got it at what's it called? Not Marshall's, but you know what I mean. Just get it at any local craft store, and see how you get it out of the box. It's already ready to go, you know. You got what you need. And just kind of pull it apart, do whatever you need to it. They make it fairly simple to work with. You kind of just can, usually you'll have to work, sometimes you'll have to work it, sometimes you won't. It depends on the consistency of the clay. And I like Sculpey because it's usually all ready to go and really soft as soon as you get out of the packaging and stuff. But the thing is, with clay, you have to make sure that you're once you're done with it, you put it away like airtight, otherwise it gets really difficult to work with, and just, it's not fun. Your fingers get all worked to the bone trying to get it rolled out and such. So let's just break off a chunk here to work with. Kind of smush it. Ignore my unprofessional working space. And what I do is I'll just use my paint and just kind of roll it out a little. You can use a professional rolling pin or a roller machine if you like. I've misplaced mine, so I can't demonstrate for you guys at the moment. But that's the basic thing, you know. However you want to do it. You could probably use your hands if you want, but it's more likely to have like fingerprints and just kind of like, you know, like weird and lumpy and not consistent with each other. So yeah. Then when you're done, you should have it rolled out to about, let's say, about this thick is good. So, I don't know, maybe 1/4 of an inch, 1/8 of an inch, somewhere in there. Just, I don't know, probably like half the size of your pinky finger. It varies depending on the type of clay. Some kinds you can get away with making it thicker, and sometimes you need it like super thin, bake it, have another coat, you know, whatever. So you just kind of finally stretching it out, making it do whatever. You get one of your cores and you just kind of drape the clay over, you know. If it's not thick enough, you can just sorry, I'm saying a lot. You can just roll it out a little bit thinner or add more clay to it depending on your crafting level, crafting skill. Just kind of make it flat and pizza doughy looking, kind of in a circle, so it drapes like a skirt. Then you get your core, make sure you get your horn core in the center, and just kind of drape it around there. And any excess really can just get your knife. I use, where's my knife? Okay. My knife, I forgot, is broken. So I'm going to use one of these little stinkers. And it works pretty well. It's for pumpkin carving, but to get rid of excess, it actually works pretty well, surprisingly. And you just kind of chop it right off. Now see, there's a little foil showing, which is fine because we're still shaping and stuff, and you can just kind of roll it around a little bit, let it drape over the bottom, and kind of squish that. Now, it looks awful, I have to tell you right now. So it's lumpy, and you're just trying to get it to cover the core at this moment. And then certain spots will need a little help. So what you can do is just that extra that you did, that you cut off, you can just kind of drape it around the center and just shape it up there, squish it around the bottom, just kind of lightly rub it in and blend it with your thumb. Like, the key term is lightly, really lightly. It looks like I'm being a little rough with the clay, but I'm actually not. You just have to like rub it in really lightly and make sure that you're not thinning out the layers at all. You're just kind of making it seamless. Okay. And you just kind of add layer upon layer and make it really pretty. If it takes you a while, it's fine, because good things come to those who wait. And plus, you know, hard work makes it look better. It'll be worth it in the end. If you're making your own horns, it'll be worth it in the end. So just kind of see how it's, let's see, I'll show you how you kind of just press down lightly, kind of just slide it, make sure it's really nice and seamless. And once it blends in, you won't even see it at all, where the first layer ends, second layer begins. Any kind of touch-ups, you know. I mean, lines are not that big of a deal in this case, since we'll be painting over it. But if you're going to use colored clay to make your horns, which I would highly advise against, just because it's just a little, hard harder to do, and they probably won't look as good, because when you're trying to blend colored clay and you're trying to make it look kind of like the horns do, it's not always the easiest feat. So at the bottom you just kind of, it doesn't matter as much if it looks good because no one's going to see it, and you're just going to kind of slide the clay over and make it cover the bottom, and just kind of flatten it out a little bit so it glues well to whatever headpiece you're going to glue it to, and just make sure it grips well. So you're showing your there we go, pretty much flat. And my horns are finally shaping up. See, we got this side, it's a little lumpy, so we're just kind of gonna casually just bend the core over, kind of thin out the layer on this side and roll it up. What you can do is you can do a funnel type thing with your hands and just kind of let it roll out there so you can kind of make a better point, and then just kind of flatten it out. Just kind of blend it, pat it. Sometimes you need to let your things rest for a little bit, because if your body heat will heat up the clay and make it really sticky and hard to deal with. So sometimes you can just knead your other clay to make sure it doesn't harden up on you while you're waiting. And then just kind of every once in a while just mess with your horns a little bit. Kind of let them sit once you've got the basic thing done. Like, this side is good, this side needs a little more support right here. So I'm just gonna, this actually needs to be bent a little more. So I'm just gonna kind of bend it over to one side, because it needs a little more angle, because we're trying to make them like cat ears here. So let's just funnel this up really quick, because it's starting to get a little sticky. And here we go. So that's decent shape for our horn. I can touch it up a little bit later. For now, you know, that's how we're gonna do it, and I hope you liked the video. I'll put up a painting tutorial up soon, as soon as I finish these last two horns, and I'll touch up this one a little bit, you know, but you get the basic idea of how to do it. And so I hope you liked it. I'll have the painting one up as soon as I bake these, and message me for any details. And bye. See you in a bit.